divine revelations. 7 miraculous signs manifested today that you must pay attention to. In the heart of a quaint English village, a storm was brewing, not of rain, but of faith. As Sarah knelt before the altar in St. Jude's Chapel, a palpable blanket of hope enveloped the room. Little did she know, divine interventions were about to unfold in ways she could hardly imagine. The first sign manifested that very moment, a flicker from a solitary prayer candle. It sprang to life, dancing with a fervor that startled those gathered. Every eye turned toward the flickering flame, awash with golden light like the sun breaking through dark clouds. Whispers sprang up among the parishioners. Was it merely a draft, or was this a signal from heaven? The curiosity buzzed like a swarm of bees, igniting something deep within Sarah's heart. Moments later, the chapel seemed to hum as if touched by celestial hands. Sarah's mind raced, contrasting her deep heartbreak over her son's illness with the warmth wrapping around her spirit. There it was again, a sudden, shimmering light illuminating a dusty corner of the chapel. Was it possible? Was God's voice cutting through her despair? A chorus of sobs echoed as the children, too, lit candles, each flame representing a prayer, a plea for healing. As Sarah lit a candle for her son, a gentle warmth flooded her being. It felt as if someone had wrapped her in a comforting embrace, and in that fleeting instant, a flicker of her own belief reignited. But then doubt seeped in, shivering her newfound hope. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The days slipped by, and the congregation's hope began to wane. An air of tension replaced the initial excitement. The pastor preached of miracles, recounting tales from ages past. Yet for Sarah, they felt distant as she watched her son fade, grasping reality like an anchor pulling her deeper into despair. The village fundraising threat loomed large, adding to her burdens as neighbors whispered some of doubt and others of faith. Desperate, Sarah attended a prayer vigil beneath the dim chapel lights. Hearts surged and fell as one. It was here she heard a stranger speak, an unassuming woman sharing a testimony of miraculous healing, a moment that froze time itself. Souls in that room began to rise, their collective hope pulsating, igniting prayers like crescendoing waves crashing upon a shore. Yet doubts coiled tightly around Sarah's heart. Could miracles still happen today? A gust of wind breezed through the chapel, causing flickering candles to wane in unison. Gasps filled the air as the shadows seemed to dance, a whimsical yet haunting reminder of prayers unchained. In that ethereal moment, Sarah stood on the edge, her heart clamoring between determination and retreat. Was that a shadow, a messenger of hope, or just her imagination playing tricks in the solemn darkness? As the congregation's chants rose to fervent praises, Sarah felt the weight of uncertainty. With her community encircling her, her heart raced. The flicker of expectancy prickled her skin. What lay ahead? Would the signs shift from whispers to shouts, dissolving doubt like mist before the rising sun? The vigil continued, a symphony of voices weaving through the air like the sweet scent of incense filling the chapel. Each prayer seemed to shoot up, dancing toward heaven, mingling with the hopes of all who embraced this shared burden. Sarah found her heart trapped in a battle between sorrow and faith. The flicker of a nearby candle caught her eye again, its flame quivering as if it too felt the weight of shared despair. She could feel the energy shift around her, the waves of prayer rising higher, echoing inside her like bell chimes calling to be heard. I believe a voice trembled from the back. It was a young man, his face illuminated by the glow of the candles. I believe God can heal. His proclamation sent a ripple through the crowd. Soft murmurs of agreement followed, hearts beginning to unshackle, one by one. But Sarah's mind was still heavily shadowed by doubt. What if this was all a mere illusion? Was it enough for her to simply believe? What did true faith really look like? In that moment, an unexpected flicker of clarity pierced through her haze. She thought back to the stories the pastor told, of those who faced impossible odds but were met with unimaginable grace. In that instant, Sarah realized that faith was not merely about seeing miracles, but trusting in their possibility. The candle's gentle glow shifted, as if responding to her awakening spirit. They began to flicker more vigorously, and the congregation leaned in, faces illuminated with hope rekindled. Tears flowed freely, some in sorrow, and some in the warmth of newfound belief. The atmosphere hummed with an electricity, as if heaven itself were brushing against them. As the prayers swelled, Sarah closed her eyes. She envisioned her son's laugh, his smile brightening her darkest days. She called upon God, whispering her deepest fears, her sincerest hopes. Please, let him feel your love, let him be healed. Her heart ached, cradling the fragile thread of belief. Suddenly, a figure emerged at the chapel's entrance. A woman, drenched from the rain outside, stood hesitantly, her eyes wide with wonder. The atmosphere shifted again, and the congregation fell silent, turning toward the newcomer. This moment felt like it was woven into the very fabric of their prayers. "Is this St. Judas? I've come to seek a miracle," she said, her voice trembling. At that moment, Sarah felt a surge, an unmistakable ripple of divine possibility danced through the air. Was this woman, seeking a miracle, part of the divine plan unfolding before them? In her, Sarah saw a reflection of her own heart's cry. The flickering candles brightened dramatically, casting shadows that seemed to dance in response, as if affirming that miracles waited for those who dared to believe. The congregation erupted in prayer once more, their voices intertwining in a chorus that reverberated against the walls of the chapel. Sarah's heart swelled. Perhaps they were not alone in their suffering. Perhaps this gathering was a testament to a greater story, one of transformation, hope, and miraculous signs lit by faith. But the question lingered, like an echo fading into the night. What were the true signs God was sending? As voices rose in fervent prayer, Sarah began to wonder, what if the next miracle was just around the corner, waiting for their collective faith to unveil it? The flickering lights of the chapel continued to shine bright, a warm contrast to the dreary rain outside. Sarah felt the weight of the moment press upon her, a tangible energy buzzing through the room. The woman who had entered, soaked but radiant, stood at the center of their circle of faith. As she stepped forward, the murmurs among the congregation grew louder, anticipation crackling in the air like static before a storm. "Who are you seeking for?" A kind-hearted voice called out from the front. "My daughter," the woman replied, her gaze full of both sorrow and hope. "She is sick. I came here believing I must believe that God can heal her." Sarah's heart resonated with the woman's plea. It was a cry that mirrored her own desperate longings. Her son, her precious boy, had been taken from the joys of life too soon. She felt the pangs of loss stir within her, but alongside it, a spark of shared sorrow ignited something deeper, an unwavering connection binding them all in prayer. As the woman spoke, Sarah sensed the congregation rally around her. Voices intertwined, lifting higher, weaving a tapestry of blessings and intentions. "Let's pray for her daughter." A voice cried out, and without hesitation, hands reached out, joined together, creating a circle of unity and strength. "God, hear our prayers," echoed across the chapel, each syllable infused with unwavering belief. There was a passion in the crowd now, a fire ignited by the spirit of communal faith. Each individual heart became a part of something greater, each beating prayer adding to the crescendo of hope. Sarah closed her eyes again, envisioning not only her son, but the daughter of the woman who stood before them. In her mind, she saw children laughing, vibrant and full of life, clear and joyous as a summer day. "Please, God," she whispered, "heal them both. Let us see your miracle." The candles fluttered wildly, as if lending their light to the fervent prayers. In that moment, Sarah caught a glimpse of something extraordinary. Soft whispers of a promise hung in the air. There was a warmth emanating from the candles, a palpable love that enveloped the room. As the prayers intensified, the woman broke into tears, overwhelmed by the affection surrounding her. The congregation mirrored her grief and passion. They shared in her burden like brothers and sisters. Within this moment, Sarah's skepticism began to dissolve. Faith was no longer just a comforting word she clung to. It was a living, breathing force. The belief that resided in each heart present surged like a tidal wave, wanting to wash away doubt and replace it with unshakable trust. Suddenly, the pulse of a room shifted as a bell tolled, not a bell of despair, but one of encouragement and hope. The sound resonated through the chapel, deep and reverberating like a divine affirmation of their prayers. "What was that?" someone asked, bewildered. "I don't know, but it feels like a sign that we are truly being heard." Another voice responded, piercing the tension thick in the air. Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. This moment felt charged, and she knew something profound was unfolding. The signs of God's presence were alive and tangible. But as the moment draped around them like a heavy cloak, Sarah pondered what would come next. What awaited them on this journey intertwined by faith and hope? Could they be on the brink of witnessing a miracle beyond their wildest dreams? Little did they know, the next revelation was about to manifest in ways they could never anticipate. The atmosphere in the chapel crackled with reverence. Sarah opened her eyes slowly, still submerged in the thick energy of prayer. The woman remained in the circle, her countenance shifting as if she were absorbing both the light from the candles and the warmth from the hearts surrounding her. Each whispered plea became a thread woven into the chapel's fabric, tightly binding them in a collective act of faith. Suddenly, amidst the fervent prayers, a soft breeze swept through, carrying with it a sweet scent like fresh blossoms after rain, a fragrant promise that wafted through the air, inexplicable yet comforting. Sarah inhaled deeply, her senses awakening. This was no ordinary moment. This was a sacred encounter, an ethereal invitation to step into the divine. "Let your worries flow away, O Lord," a voice called out, steady and clear, as if channeling wisdom from the heavens. "We trust in your healing power." Sarah marveled at the courage residing in their voices, every syllable charged with love and tension, hope and desperation entwined in a beautiful dance. Among the gathering, some began to sway lightly, moved by a rhythm greater than their own, transported on waves of faith. Each face radiated a unique stories of struggle, of pain, but also of triumph and resilience. They were all looking for something, and that something was not just healing but connection. Connection to God, to each other, to hope itself. "Believe," cried out another, the intensity in her voice stirring the stillness. "Believe that barriers can be broken, that hope reigns eternal. Our prayers rise like smoke, unburdening the weight of our fears." As her words melted into the silence, an extraordinary hush enveloped the chapel. Time seemed to stand still. Sarah felt an inner peace begin to seep into her soul. In that stillness, she recognized a flicker of truth. The essence of faith was not just about seeking answers. It was about the journey, the exploration of the divine amid uncertainty. A gentle hand brushed against Sarah's arm, pulling her from a reverie. She turned to see the radiant woman smile through her tears, not tears of despair, but of acknowledgement. "Thank you for your prayers, they carry me." In that moment, Sarah realized how much they each carried the weight of the world. Their burdens, even if different, were the same, in essence, a call for understanding, healing, and grace. Then, just as suddenly, the bell tolled again, breaking the silence anew and echoing through their hearts. Its chime was not merely a sound. It was an embrace, a celestial invitation calling them deeper into the mystery of hope that cloaked them like a shawl. "Is this our answer?" someone whispered, glancing at those beside her. As the conversations cradled this question, the atmosphere swelled with excitement and uncertainty intertwined. It was then that Sarah understood. The divine wasn't a distant call, but a present reality, breathing with them in that moment. She yearned for more, a greater revelation beyond this communion, aching for the miracles promised in faith. But just as her heart brimmed with yearning, another thought surfaced, weaving through the gathering like a whispered breeze. What could it mean for each of them, for that little girl, for their lives intertwined in this sacred space? In that swirl of intensity and expectation, the air thickened again, and Sarah felt a curious sensation in the pit of her stomach. The next miracle, whatever it might be, lay just beyond their grasp, a divine mystery awaiting its moment. As they stood together, immersed in heartfelt connection, what awaited them just outside that door? Would they venture forth to witness a miracle that would rewrite their stories, or perhaps even challenge their beliefs anew? The air shifted again, filling the chapel with an almost electric anticipation. Sarah felt the rustle of the fabric around her as people adjusted themselves, eyes glimmering with unspoken questions and hidden hopes. This was a moment suspended in time, a heartbeat echoing between them all. The woman who had spoken before raised her hands, palms upward, as if inviting the divine presence to flow through her. Her voice, soft yet powerful, broke through the stillness. "Let us open our hearts, brothers and sisters. The Lord is here among us." With those words, the atmosphere began to shimmer. The candlelight flickered in response, casting dancing shadows on the stone walls. Some in the circle gasped softly, feeling an undeniable warmth wash over them, as though they were being cradled by unseen hands. Sarah closed her eyes once more, soaking in the energy, letting every worry and fear melt away. "Faith transcends all," another voice chimed in, a melodic tone filled with such hope that it sent ripples of calm through the room. "In our unity, we find strength, and in strength, healing awaits." As each person contributed their voice to the chorus, the energy collected into a palpable force. It was as if their collective faith formed a bridge to something magnificent just beyond the surface of their reality. Sarah opened her eyes and saw the woman again, tears staining her cheeks, yet her smile radiated hope. This was not just sorrow. It was the kind of transformative joy that can only come from encountering the essence of God. In that charged moment, a soft hum began to resonate around the chapel, weaving through their voices like a golden thread. It was neither music nor speech, but something deep and primal, an acknowledgement of divine presence. Sarah felt it rise from her heart to her throat, a response bursting forth with each pulse of energy that entwined them. "We are the vessels of His grace," she heard herself exclaim, caught up in the momentum of faith. Others echoed her, their words layering together in a hymn of thanksgiving and earnest longing. Then, an unexpected sound pierced through a childish laughter, sweet and innocent. It echoed from somewhere beyond the chapel's walls, a reminder of the life and joy that existed outside the weight of their burdens. It was a lullaby that beckoned not merely to the ear, but to the very essence of hope buried deep within each spirit. "God is always at work, even in our darkest moments," Sarah whispered, her heart swelling with revelation. The laughter ignited something within her, awakening a desire to seek that joy, to find God not only in sorrow, but also in playful blessings that surrounded them. Suddenly, the air around them thickened once more, infused with an unmistakable strength. It felt as if a thick veil was lifting, revealing a glimpse into the miraculous. She turned her gaze toward the heavy wooden doors, sensing an impending revelation. Perhaps the miracles they sought were not confined to their supplications, but waiting just outside to burst forth into their midst. Could it be that the laughter of that child signaled a hope they had yet to discover? As eager hearts waited with bated breath, Sarah realized their prayer circle extended far beyond the chapel itself, intertwining with life itself. What lay ahead brimming with possibilities yet unseen. What awaited them outside those doors? Would they step into a moment of divine transformation that would shift everything they believed? As the silence deepened, Sarah sensed a pulse in the air, an invitation to take that leap of faith beyond the familiar. Tension wrapped around them like a thick blanket, the kind that just before dawn, when the night was at its darkest, began to yield to the gentle caress of morning light. She glanced around, witnessing the shared readiness etched on the faces of those around her. The woman who had spoken before continued, her breath steady as though she had tapped into an unseen current. Let us venture forth, beloveds. Let us not linger on the threshold, but step boldly into the light of our Creator. Her voice seemed to resonate with all the energy they had cultivated, binding them together with an almost magnetic force. One by one, hands began to reach toward the heavy doors, palms outstretched in expectation. It felt as if they were about to unlock the very gates of heaven. Sarah felt the stirring of the Holy Spirit tightening her chest. Hope now sang at the edges of her consciousness. She could almost hear the laughter again, echoing softly like a promise wrapped in grace. As the first person pushed the door open, a swirl of cool air greeted them, a breath from the outside world, crisp and fresh like the dawn of a new day. The chapel faded behind them, and where the sunlight streamed through the open doorway, it filled the space with golden rays. Just beyond the threshold lay the garden, lush and vibrant. Wildflowers danced in the gentle breeze, beckoning them forward, pushing at their backs. Together, someone cried out, igniting a wave of movement. They surged forward into the blooming vibrancy outside, a rush of colorful hearts ready to explore what lay ahead. Stepping onto the soft grass, Sarah felt the earth beneath her feet, grounding her in the reality of the divine. She took a deep breath, inhaling the fragrance of the flowers, the scent intermingling with the faint smell of rain. With every heartbeat, their connection grew stronger, the laughter of children nearby mixing with the rustling leaves of the trees. This was a world alive with possibility, a sphere where miracles were blooming like the blossoms all around them. Suddenly, a small child ran into view, her curls bouncing as she chased after a butterfly. Sarah felt her heart leap. This child, with her innocent joy, embodied the laughter that had broken the solemnity of their prayer circle. The child spun and twirled, her giggles soaring into the air, echoing divine delight, a song of unfiltered joy. "See," Sarah exclaimed, pointing to the child. "This is the joy of the Lord, unrestrained and pure." Others turned, their eyes glistening as they caught the spirit of the moment, clapping and laughing with abandon. They were alive. It wasn't just a notion. It was a realization that God's presence was not only inside the chapel, but radiating in the world around them, in every laugh, every glimmer of light. Just then, the sky above them began to shift. Clouds parted slightly, and a beam of golden sunlight poured down, enveloping the group in warmth. Gasps of awe filled the air, and Sarah felt the weight of the holy moment. She realized they were not just witnesses to joy. They were participants in something extraordinary. Could it be? She whispered, her gaze lifting in recognition. What if this flicker of light cascading down upon them was a sign? What if this is just the beginning? As hearts soared, they felt a shift, a tethering to something greater than themselves. The laughter of the child echoed again, and with each ripple, the air hummed, vibrating with promises unspoken yet profound. What did this blessing mean? Could they have stumbled upon deeper revelations waiting to be embraced? Sarah clutched her heart, wondering about the path that lay ahead. Would they recognize it when it came? And as they turned, emboldened and eager, the world beckoned them further beyond the garden, into mysteries yet to unfold. As they stepped further into the garden, the air shimmered with excitement. Sarah marveled at the shifts in the atmosphere. There was a tangible essence of life unfolding around them. Soft whispering winds rustled through the leaves, and the fragrance of blooming flowers wrapped them in a warm embrace, like a hug from heaven itself. "Look at the colors," a voice exclaimed. "It's like every petal holds a secret." Sarah turned to see someone kneeling to examine the delicate blossoms. Their hues blended harmoniously, a palette that painted the very spirit of joy. Each flower appeared to dance under the gentle sunbeams, living testaments to creation's artistry. For Sarah, it was a lesson in wonder, a reminder that beauty often arises from the simplest of things. Even the smallest petals bear witness to his glory. She said, her heart alight with gratitude. A ripple of agreement waved through the group, faces aglow with acknowledgement of divine presence. With each moment, the thread binding them together tightened. They began to recount their own stories, moments when faith had carried them through storms, giving voice to the echoes of their hearts. One by one, they shared tales of brokenness transformed into healing, doubt blossoming into trust. Each narrative was a bright thread in the tapestry of their collective faith. "God sees us, beloveds," the woman from before fervently proclaimed, her hands raised, inviting others to join. "We are witnesses to his miracles, whether small or grand. Let us celebrate what the Lord has done." Lively conversation flowed, laughter intertwined with serious reflection, and the sun continued its journey across the sky, illuminating their gathering. They spoke of prayers answered in the quiet of the night, the kind of light that crept into the corners of their lives when darkness threatened to consume. In that moment, Sarah felt an overwhelming swell of affection for the people surrounding her. Each person held a unique story, a testament to God's goodness, and it created an intricate web of faith and understanding that transcended mere words. Suddenly, she knew this was a sacred gathering, a gathering in the spirit. The child from before danced into their circle once more, her laughter spilling like water from spring. Sarah watched her as she twirled with unabashed delight. "Look, she reminds us to embrace joy without reservation," Sarah exclaimed. It was a declaration that rippled through the group, inviting them to remember the childlike faith they all once had. As if on cue, the sun slipped behind a cloud for just an instant, and the garden transformed into a serene hush. Silence blanketed them, but it was a silence steeped in reverence. Each breath whispered the unspoken gratitude they could feel gathering in the depth of their souls. And then, in that stillness, something extraordinary happened. A soft glow emanated near the heart of the garden, a radiant light that lifted above the blossoms like a prayer ascending to heaven. The beams flickered, casting a golden hue over their faces. Sarah's heart raced. What did this mean? It felt like an invitation, a beckoning to something far greater. "What is this?" someone gasped, pointing toward the light. As they collectively took a step forward, all eyes locked on the luminous display. It shimmered gently, a divine mystery coursing through the air, a visible echo of hope and love. Sarah felt a thrill race up her spine. Maybe it's a promise? Something we have yet to understand. The excitement rippled through the assembly like wild wind, a spark igniting their curious hearts. They stood on the verge of something marvelous, an unveiling, the unknown beckoning them to take yet another step of faith into the realm of divine revelation. What wonders awaited just beyond that shimmering glow? Would they find themselves within the embrace of the miraculous? As the light pulsed gently, Sarah felt certain that new revelations were calling, ready to unfold beyond their wildest imaginations. As the soft glow hovered before them, Sarah felt her heart beat faster. What was happening? Was this truly what they had been waiting for? The air was thick with anticipation, the kind of tension that buzzed in a crowd waiting for a speaker to begin. They took a collective breath, closing their eyes just for a moment in prayer, seeking clarity and confirmation. When they opened them again, the light swayed like a gentle flame, pulsing softly in rhythm with their hearts. "Can you feel it?" someone whispered from the back, eyes wide with wonder. "It's like it's alive, like it knows us." Yes, exactly. It's as if it calls out to us. Another voice chimed in, touched by the divine essence wrapping around them. Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of unity wrap around the group. Each voice added to the energy, fueling a sacred atmosphere. Laughter and gasps filled the air as they slowly reached out, fingers brushing the light. A warm wash enveloped their hands, leaving tingling sensations and a gentle peace. What this is a message? Sarah mused aloud, wonder and hope intermingling in her voice. What we're meant to share something beyond ourselves. The woman with the fervent spirit stepped forward, her eyes gleaming. Let the light speak to us. Invite, and what is it saying? She lifted her hands, palms open wide as if to receive. As they all joined her, standing in formation around the radiant phenomenon, each person closed their eyes again. Breathing together in synchrony, they invited the essence of love and hope into their hearts. In that stillness, Sarah felt a warmth wrapping around her soul, stirring something deep within. Suddenly, memories flashed through her mind like fireworks, moments of hope in times of darkness, faces of loved ones lost, prayers sent up to the heavens, all experiences that had shaped her faith. They were inscribed within her being like stars scattered across a night sky. Every tear of sorrow transformed into a bridge leading to joy. A quiet voice within her whispered, "Remember and share." I think we're meant to share our stories, Sarah declared, determination coursing through her. We must tell others so they can see the light too. Around her, heads nodded, affirmations echoing. They were witnessing something profound, a call to action that transcended the ordinary. Together, our voices can spread this light, a man proclaimed, his voice powerful. Let us go beyond. Let us share our testimonies and shine a beacon of hope. Hope uplifted them as they began to brainstorm, energetic ideas pouring forth like a waterfall. They spoke of gatherings, sharing their experiences through community events, and reaching out to those who needed to feel the love of God. Each suggestion seemed to fan the glow of the divine light pulsing before them. But in the corner of Sarah's heart, a part of her hesitated. Could such simple stories really carry such weight? Could sharing their experiences reflect that golden glow, leading others back to faith? As they planned, the glow pulsed faster, almost in response to their excitement, casting whimsical shadows among the flowers. Then, let us share the goodness of God, someone shouted, raising their arms to the heavens. In that moment, the light flickered and expanded, engulfing them in its warm embrace. They felt it the promise of his presence, as if the garden itself was alive with joy. A few seconds stretched into eternity, and within that divine framework, a resonating thought echoed in Sarah's mind. What would happen to hearts untouched by this light? Their gathering had ignited a fervor of faith, but even as the light danced, she wondered what deeper revelations would the light unfold next. Would they truly grasp the magnitude of their calling? As hope intertwined with their faith, the luminous glow began to shift, forming a distinct path unfurling into the unknown. A sense of divine invitation lingered, urging them to follow, but where would it lead? What wonders awaited them just beyond that threshold? The glow pulsed, beckoning with a gentle promise that tickled the edges of Sarah's mind. It felt as if the very fabric of the universe was moving, guiding them into something greater. With hearts racing, they took a step forward, the energy around them alive with potential. Do we trust this light? A voice rang out, echoing the question lingering in every heart. The silence that followed was profound, a moment ripe for divine revelation. They stood, suspended in time, waiting for answers to flow from the very essence around them. I believe we do, Sarah replied, her voice steadying. This light, isn't just a feeling, is an invitation to something beautiful. We just have to be brave enough to follow where it leads. A soft murmur ran through the gathering. Hope was woven tightly with a newfound courage. They took another step, hands reaching for the unfurling path that shimmered with warmth and possibility. It felt as if the ground beneath them was solid, yet fluid, urging them onward. Suddenly, the light brightened, revealing ethereal figures dancing within its essence. Laughter, pure and carefree, filled their hearts, and with it came a deeper understanding that joy could still thrive even amidst life as challenges. The figures began weaving in and out of the glowing path, their movements a blend of grace and freedom. "What do you see?" someone asked, drawn to the spectacle before them. "Angels," Sarah exclaimed, her voice tinged with awe. "I think they're guiding us, showing us the way." As she spoke, the light shifted again, forming intricate designs that sparkled like constellations. Each shape seemed to pulse with stories of hope and faith. Sarah's heart raced faster than before. These are testimonies, aren't they? Every shape tells a story of someone who has walked this path. Yes, a man cried out, realizing it too. Those who felt love, loss, redemption, and still found their way back to him. The realization cascaded like a wave through the group, and each felt that familiar warmth seep deeper. It was not just about sharing their stories, but also about listening to the stories of others, their journey intertwined with God's grace. But how do we begin? A quiet voice asked. It seems so daunting, even with all of this beauty surrounding us. "Start small," Sarah replied, her words carrying gentle conviction. "Every story matters. Every heart touched makes a larger impact. Let us share what we've learned. Let us listen to one another. Together, we can illuminate the darkness." As if responding to their collective resolve, the air shimmered, and the glowing path widened, revealing two clear directions. One side led to the village of familiar faces, while the other coursed through the untold, beckoning with the promise of new souls to touch. Which path do we take? Someone wondered aloud. The question hung heavy, a reminder of the choices that lay ahead. "Both," Sarah declared, her voice firm with purpose. "We can reach out to those we know, while embracing those who need hope. Let us carry this light wherever we go." The light surged forth, a warm embrace enveloping them, flooding hearts with peace. As their spirits lit up like candles in the night, Sarah felt a profound connection, a palpable tether, binding them to something greater. But at the edge of her mind stirred a deeper worry. What if we fail to reach those meant for this message? She pondered, glancing at the other path that stretched into uncharted territories. While they stood on the brink, the light shifted once more, revealing whispers of truths yet to be uncovered. "The journey will teach us," she muttered softly, an internal promise surfacing through uncertainty. They stepped boldly toward their shared calling, curiosity mingling with holy anticipation. As the first foot fell onto the path, a brilliant flash erupted, igniting every corner of the garden. "What's next?" someone gasped, eyes wide with wonder. "Whatever it is," Sarah replied, heart pounding, "it's bound to be miraculous." And in that moment, the light shimmered, preparing to reveal something far beyond their expectations. As the beams of light encircled them, an overwhelming sense of unity washed over the congregation. Sarah felt the stir of purpose deep within her soul, a calling that resonated with every heartbeat. They were no longer just a group of individuals burdened by their struggles. They were a family bound together by faith and hope, ready to step into their destiny. "Together we are stronger," Sarah exclaimed, raising her hands in enthusiasm. The words erupted like a proclamation, igniting sparks of determination in everyone's heart. As their gaze turned to the shimmering path ahead, an invisible thread seemed to pull them forward, urging them toward their purpose. Unspoken fears melted away as laughter filled the air, the child's giggle ringing out, carrying the spirit of joyous possibility. "Let us embark on this journey together," the radiant woman shouted. "Let us spread the light we've witnessed, the hope we've ignited." Cheers filled the garden, rising like a chorus of angels. Each face glowed with anticipation as they stepped forward, the path glowing brighter with every footfall. Sarah's heart raced with exhilaration. Could it be that their collective faith would lead to something miraculous? The path led them into the village, where the familiar streets awaited, adorned with flowers bursting in colors that resembled their desires. As they walked, whispers of their stories flooded back, each voice weaving an intricate narrative shared with love. The memories transformed into vibrant threads, tying them back to moments of grace and healing that had shaped their lives. What if we tell those around us who feel lost? A voice broke through the chatter. What if we share how our faith sustained us? Yes, Sarah's heart leapt. Our testimonies can illuminate the darkness for others. We are the light. The rallying cry brought more smiles and enthusiasm. They reached their first neighbor, a man who had known loneliness and despair. As they shared their stories, a palpable energy blossomed among them, warming the air like sunlight filtering through trees. The man's eyes glistened with hope, drawing him into their community and igniting the flickers of faith hidden within him. Can it really be true? He murmured, his voice shaky but full of yearning. Can faith truly heal? With tender assurance, the woman beside him replied, it can. We felt that it's real. Tears glistened as they all clasped hands, creating a circle of connection, a symbol of their growing family. The ripples of hope spread rapidly through the village, igniting hearts waiting for whispers of light. Sarah watched as people began stepping forward, sharing struggles and triumphs. Each story was a spark that ignited the next, illuminating the path of life. Time melted into an ecstatic dance of prayers, beautiful, raw, and unfiltered. The world around them pulsed with vibrant grace, like a garden thriving beneath the touch of divine love. They witnessed lives transformed. They saw doubts lifted and burdens eased. As stories flowed freely, a realization blossomed in Sarah's heart. The light they had felt outside the chapel wasn't just theirs to hold. It was meant to sweep through the world like a wildfire, sparking change everywhere it touched. Let us walk beyond our village, she cried out, feeling the gravity of their purpose. Let us reach those who live in darkness, those craving to feel this light. With courageous resolve, they shifted their focus to the horizon, the unknown beckoning them forward, calling them into the endless ocean of possibilities. Days stretched into weeks as they traveled from town to town, illuminating hearts and rekindling deadened spirits. Every interaction was impactful, each flame lit, becoming a beacon of faith for others who felt unseen. They shared the tangible joy of healing, each miracle serving as a testament of God's grace. Amidst this revelation, Sarah was struck by the beauty of unity. No longer did they stand isolated in their struggles. They had become a living testament of love, hope, and transformation, a chorus of faith ringing through the valleys. At every stop, new faces joined them, bringing their own stories, their own flickering flares of belief. People cried tears of joy as they embraced hope. And in this sanctified movement, flickers of doubt that once anchored them began to dissolve into pure exhilaration. Sarah felt her heart light as each day unfolded, a daily reminder of the gift they were nurturing. With every step, the light guided them forward, leading them into their greatest calling yet. As they reached the highest hill, overlooking the lands, Sarah raised her hands in surrender, embracing the divine essence that pulsed through her very being. Look around, she shouted, tears of gratitude filling her eyes. Look at what God has done. We are transformed before our own eyes. The laughter of the children danced through the air, a melodic harmony of triumph woven in with the symphony of lives changed. In that moment, they understood this was not just the culmination of their journey. It was just the beginning, a new chapter unfolding at the intersection of faith and experience. In a sudden burst of clarity, Sarah realized, miracles don't abide in grandeur, they live in every heart willing to believe. Today, we are the vessels, the lights sent forth into a world hungry for hope. And just like that, the chapters of their stories aligned, weaving into a divine masterpiece. In that vivid moment of revelation, the truth dawned. Their faith had manifested into an unstoppable force. God was not only present in their gathering, but coursing through every corner of life. As the sun set behind them, painting the sky in vibrant hues, they stood together, hearts intertwined. They were more than just a community. They were a movement of love, driven by divine purpose, ready to shine bright against the backdrop of the night. Feeling this surge, the urge to spread the warmth became palpable. "Let us go forth," someone shouted, breaking through with fervor. "Let us share the miracles and collect more stories to ignite the world. This light belongs to everyone." And as laughter erupted, soaring into the sunset, they knew this was the true manifestation of faith, alive, radiant, and infinitely powerful. This was indeed the beginning of their greatest work, yet a call to embrace the divine, to shine for all to see, inviting everyone into their shared journey of transformation and faith. And now, dear friends, if this story has moved you as it has moved me, I urge you subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference. Comment below your reactions and testimonies about the ending. I want to hear how this touched your heart. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second. You need to spread the light.